everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Megan, and today I'm going to be talking about the pop-up concert that I went to last night for the band CAMINO. It was so much fun, and I just want to tell you all about it. So let's get started. So the band CAMINO is actually going on tour this fall, and I was kind of disappointed because none of the dates line up with my schedule. So I think about 2 weeks ago, their album came out and they announced that they were gonna do, I think, 10 pop-up shows. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so exciting. I hope they have something in Michigan. And the last week I was traveling and I saw their Instagram story about the next pop-up show. So I clicked on it and it said Detroit. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's great. Click on it. There was only like 25 tickets left. And I think the venue was about 400, maybe a little bit more, because it was so packed in there. But I'm really excited that I went because I know I won't be able to make it in the fall tour. And so I just kind of want to give a little insight of what happened, considering it was a pop-up show and they called it the tour before the tour, and it's only 10 cities, and they had like special merchandise. And then just to talk about the set list, because some of the songs they were testing out for the fall tour. When I first got there, I got there like 20 to 30 minutes before the door opens. So the door opens at the venue at 7, but they didn't come on until 8:30. And all of us were standing there. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, the doors open at 7. And I figured they were going to come on at 8, because sometimes when a door opens, it's normally like an hour before the show starts. It gives everyone an hour to come in. But considering the venue didn't actually open until 7, I knew that they probably wouldn't come on until 8. Considering they had no opener or anything, I thought they would have came on earlier than what they did. But there was probably like no rush into the night, so maybe that's why they came on at 8:30. I'm not 100% positive. So if you get to a pop-up show and you're sitting there for like an hour and a half, that's how it was for my show. So don't be surprised on that. I know every venue is different, but the venue I went to, they didn't open until 7 anyway. So, and that's what the ticket said, 7 o'clock. So anyways, I go in and the merch table and the bar are just like a long line. So I just skipped. I was like, you know what, I'm going to sacrifice that. I couldn't even find a bathroom in the venue because I'd never been there before. And so I just ended up going in the crowd. There were so many tall people there. And so I struggled to sometimes see the actual stage and the artist. I was kind of in the middle, basically. The middle portion of the stage in like the middle area of the room. And so I ended up videotaping quite a bit of it just because I like couldn't see. So like I had like my phone like way up here because there at certain parts I was like this, like trying to find an open spot, which the concert was like amazing and everything. But I just say the downside is that, I mean, I'm 5'6", so I'm a little bit above average for a girl, but there were, you know, a bunch of guys there too. So their domes were in my way. So I have quite a few videos on that, which I'll probably be posting. I do want to say the tour before the tour merch, if you're going to it, I would say go to the table right away. I sacrificed it to get a better viewing in the room just because I saw there were so many people. Like, obviously it was probably sold out, or maybe they like overbooked it, who knows. But I really wish I would have got a shirt, because I think that they had limited shirts specifically for this 10 pop-up city tour. So if you're gonna go to one, definitely try to get the t-shirt, because it was sold out by the time I went to merch. However, I did get a signed poster, specifically the tour before the tour. So I'm trying to think if they had any other things, particularly for the 10 cities. They already had fall merch, so they had the Never Always, or whatever the title of the album is. They had all that stuff as well. So if you go to a pop-up show, you can probably get the merch for the fall tour, or for the tour, so that like when you go in the fall, you don't even have to worry about going to merch. You can just go and get like a really good seat or standing area. Now onto the set list. So at the very beginning, they open up with What I Want. And I can't remember if it was after that song or the second song, but Jeffrey did the introduction, and he had mentioned that he's like, sorry, he was like, this is our 4th show. We were just in Chicago yesterday. And before this, he's like, I knew we had to change a set list. We had to change things around. Like, it just didn't like feel right. And I don't really exactly know what the order of the set list was prior. I think there was like something like leaked online. So I kind of knew where some songs were in the set list going into the night. But then with that, he said it was changing, because I thought the set list would kind of like combobulated online, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like a weird lineup of songs. Like, why is See Through at the beginning of the show? It should be at the end of the show. And so they changed the set list for us, and I think it turned out really well. See Through ended up going before Daphne Blue at the end, which was just great. I think they mixed the newer songs in with the older ones, and the way that they kind of tied it based on like the sounds of the songs. I think it was really well done. I am not like a super fan of the new album, but I will tell you, for anyone who is going to the tour in the fall or is going to a pop-up show in the next couple weeks, it does not disappoint live. I will say the new songs, I was surprised at how well or how good they are live, just with the energy in the room and the instruments and the crowd. Like, I think I'm gonna go back and probably download some of the songs from the new album, because I just like listening through it a couple of times. I'm just like, it's just the sound. I miss the synth, and I don't know, I just kind of like miss that vibe of their music. But live, it just definitely amplifies it. That's sometimes with the Wildlife. There were a couple songs where I don't like, but like they're just so different live. Like Real Estate and like Simple Math and like Turtleneck, like they're just so good live that I don't even mind it when they play it when I go to a show. But I don't know, it's just different. Sometimes, I don't know what it is. Sometimes it's mostly like the atmosphere, the actual live instrumentals. I don't know. But anyways, anybody going to the tour in the fall, the new songs live are fantastic. Yes. All right, let's get into what actually they played. There was a sign in the crowd. There was someone who had a sign that referenced I Spend Too Much Time in My Room. I think that's what it's called. And Jeffrey's like, I wish I remembered how to play that song. But he's like, it's been so long, I don't even think I know how to play it. They didn't play it, but this was a set list. I'll also put it in the description as well. So they start off with What I Want. They did What Am I Missing? They did Pieces, which was fantastic live. I really like the song Pieces. One Last Cigarette, Haunted, Hush Hush, Baggy Jeans, I Told You So, Limbo, Underneath My Skin, Heaven. They did do Heaven because I think they were testing that one out to do for the fall. Last year on the tour, they did California. So I was like, I wonder if they're going to do California or Heaven, because they're kind of similar in my book. They're both long, and they just have like a really cool bridge. And so I'm glad that they did Heaven, because I heard California last year. I would love to hear California too. I think that's great live. And then they had What You Can't Have. That was also really good live. Song About You, Stupid Questions. The Black and White was Chef's Kiss. It was so great. Last year they did an acoustic version. Spencer was phenomenal. This year they had the bass, they had the drums, they had everything. It was so good. They did 214, they did Roses, I Think I Like You, Infinity, See Through, and Daphne Blue. I was surprised on some of the songs that they didn't sing. I was surprised that they didn't sing Know It All. They did it last year at Royal Oak in the acoustic session. Acoustic part of the show. I never done the VIP or anything like that. But like Know It All just seems like a one to play. I'm really surprised that Jeffrey does not sing My Thoughts on You, because Spencer sings The Black and White on the piano. Why can't Jeffrey sing My Thoughts on You, which is one of their biggest songs from the beginning? Like, there's a music video for it. I think it was like most streams at some point. We need to get him back into singing that. Like, him and Spencer can each have their song on the piano. I was surprised nothing from the Bruises EP was on this tour. I was surprised Nostalgia wasn't on there. Nostalgia was the opening song the last tour. I was honestly surprised it was not on this. I love that song, and I was hoping that they pick songs from each like EP or album, and I think the Bruises EP might have been the only a song that was not on there. So I was really surprised by that. But that was the set list for the night. It was just a phenomenal show, and Jeffrey even mentioned at the beginning that he's like, we totally needed this. It's really hard to scale back down when you've grown and gotten bigger over time in terms of booking larger venues. It's really hard to go back to a small scale of a few hundred people in a room. And I don't know why, just watching them last year, I went to 2 concerts last summer, and then watching it now in the smaller room, I feel like it suits them for like a 300, 400 people room. Like you can just, it's just more intimate. I love the smaller venues versus the larger venues. I don't think I've been to an arena tour maybe like once. I just love the smaller venues. So I'm glad that they actually did something. I like going to the theaters and stuff too. That's a few thousand, but there's just something about being in a smaller room, especially with the people in the crowd with you. And it's just very captivating in my eyes. So if you're not going to the pop-up tour, if you are, those are some of the songs that they sang. I think that's all I have to yap about, really. It was just a really fun time. I hope they do something like this again. It seems like the pop-up things and the surprise performances are happening. I mean, All American Rejects have been doing it for the last few months. I wonder if going back to the roots like this would be something that bands consider. I know Jeffrey even mentioned before about it kind of being like inexpensive for us to come see the show, and it is a guaranteed sellout in my opinion if you do like a bunch of like 500 people shows or something like that. And yeah, I'm just really grateful that they did a pop-up tour, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to make it in the fall. So yeah, it was great. It was just a snippet of what I was going to miss, but I'm really glad that I got to see them. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.